Hello everybody. Last time when we finish off with web page, our web page should look similar to this one. I forgot to mention one thing about comments. In CSS we also can have comments, and we do them like this. So we use slash and star to open the comments, and then slash and star to close it. This type of comment is it's called block comment. So you may comment out many lines you want. Like here you see I comment 3 lines, just to know where you should start. We create a bar on top of the web page and set some attributes to make him fixed on top of the window. We also set our style of fonts, like size, font family, color of the fonts, some colors, backgrounds. Today we actually will basically use all we learned last time to set some properties of the 3 divs in the middle of the page. Those 3. 1, 2, 3. To make them more attractive, nice looking, and have some kind of animation. First of all, we want to leave some space under the last div. So close this and go open our style CSS. And to do this, we can do that using different approaches, but like you already know, ID is one of them. And then we can set margin bottom. However, I will show you now another way to do this, and this time we will use last of type CSS pseudo class. Represents the last sibling with the given element name in the list of children of its parent element. Simply set the div to which we want to apply styling by typing div. We know this div around the big one have ID, div info boxes, and div, because we want to apply that to div inside that. And to call pseudo class we use colon, and we type last minus of minus type. This way we set to the compiler, use the last of this div. And inside that we type margin bottom colon, and let's leave like 80 pixels, should be fine. If we want to modify images, so we will have some images there, inside those divs we again need to specify the path to them, and we do this by typing, of course, first div hash for ID, info boxes, and we use ing for images. So let's set border for those images. Border. For border we need to specify the thickness of it, what kind of border we want, like for example dashed, and color of that border. let's say 215, 125, 50. We can also make the images appear that they are like a circles by setting border radius, border radius, and 50%. Width of this images container, we will say that will be 15% of whole div, and new parameter, we want that div to be set on the left side, so for that we use float left. Float property specifies that element should be taken from the normal flow and placed along the left or right side of its container. So, and also that means we set also the properties of text and other elements with that element, and we say that all the elements should wrap around it. Let's see how it looks our web page now. Run, launch. Okay. Right, I miss to specify that those images are also in the div. Okay, so div infobox, div images. Now it should work. Yeah, here we go. So we have circle kind of container for the image. Inside that we have the image. We specify border of that image, and our text wrap around it. We also have the space now below the last div. Okay. We can also say that everything what is inside that div and it's not an image should have kind of margin, because if you pay attention, the text was really close to the image. So for that we again say div hash for id info boxes div, and we use notation that this is not image. We want every element which is not image. And inside the brackets we set margin. Do we actually need just margin on the left side? %, should be fine. Okay. Let's set also family size and color of the text in the H2 element. And this time maybe we'll choose another fonts. This way you can see that we can use different styles fonts. If you don't remember how to get that link, as you can see I have now 2 different family fonts. If you don't remember how to get that link, go back to the first or second tutorial. I'm not sure now. I think the second one. In the second tutorial we will showing how to get those links and how to apply family fonts like here. So for that we want to set the info boxes div. We want to set H2 element inside that div, and we will set font family. I have lobster kind of, and the font family line you can also take from the web page with Google Fonts. It's in 0.4, so you can just copy and paste. Oops. Font size, let's set that to 22 pixels. We shouldn't make it bigger than H1, so 22 should be fine. H1, yeah, should be okay. And color, and let's use hexadecimal values, so hash in front, and for example 0 in red, AA in blue, and 7.3 in green. Save it. And let's see how it looks now. Okay. So actually don't get the, just get the not image. It doesn't, don't get the styling for boxes. Okay, now it should work. So just refresh, and here it is. As you can see, it's really important to use correct names, correct paths, and you should be careful with this, because if you miss something, like I miss letter here, it actually doesn't work. So I didn't like the way the link was displayed with the underline, so let's remove this underline and make the color of that link different when we hover that. So for that we need to use div hash in full boxes div, and if you remember, our link is in paragraph and it's A, in A, so for that let's use paragraph and A. Right, and to remove that underline we say that we want text decoration to be set to none. Simple like that, as that. And color of the text hash 0 in red, F in blue, 0. Actually no, let's say 90 in green. So our link should have different color now. And as I say, we want to have it change the color when we hover it. So for that we can just copy this part, because we will use the same div, same link and paragraph, but this time we want to have the change color when we hover it. Colon, hover, brackets, and we can actually also add another focus. Focus is new for you, and hover, we know what it means. So when we hover the link, it should change. Focus, on the other hand, is another like CSS pseudo class which is applied when an element has received focus, either from the user selecting it with the use of keyboard or by activating with the mouse. So we want to have the color change when we hover or it is in focus. Color, and let's say this time we will use a lot of red, 0 in blue, and 0 in green. Let's save it and let's check our web page. As you can see, the Google link is changed. When we hover it, it's changed to the red. Right. Lastly, let's set two more behaviors of the 3Ds. You probably remember that we set transform and scale on them to 1, which means that if nothing changes, for example, mouse doesn't hover over them, we want to display them without any changes, so like in 100%. So now we will make the div scale up when mouse hover it, and scale down, make the other divs smaller. For this we will use already known path div hash info boxes div, and we want to say that if we hover that div, colon hover brackets, change transform scale to be bigger. 1 means it's 100%. If we use 1.2 for example, that make it 20% bigger, so it will be like 120%. Okay, now for this we don't hover, so again put div hash info boxes div, and if we not hover, we want to transform it and make it smaller. Scale, for example, 0.8. Let's save it and launch. So as you can see, the divs are smaller, but there's something wrong. They get smaller even. Okay. My mistake. I forgot to put colon here. Save it and refresh. Right, I forgot about one more thing. We actually have to say that everything in the info box when it's hover, but if that small div it's not hover, then we want to scale it down. So if we hover the big div around but not the small one, we want the small one to be scaled down. This way we have like we are in the div, we hover one, the one in the focus gets bigger, scale up, the one we don't hover, the one below, gets smaller. Okay, congratulations! You just create your first web page template, which could be used as a template, as I say. Feel free to play with it, modify it, and learn how to use HTML and CSS. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. I will try to answer the best and easiest way I can, or make another tutorial if you will specify your topic you want me to do. Thank you for watching, and if you like it, share it, subscribe to my channel to see more videos. Peace out.